What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Broncos postgame show here on Guerilla Sports. Kristen Brown,
Hey, y'all.
Chad Brown. Yes, a Broncos win, 10-7.
Yeah.
A game we'll call the P&P game, the punts and penalties game.
Punts and penalties. That's a great description. And that's probably why I'm feeling like we're celebrating. We're celebrating. We're celebrating, right? Like
you don't ever turn down a victory.
Never.
You take every single one you get. Coming from the guy who got a victory on a fifth down game, you take every victory any way you can.
Absolutely.
But come on, Broncos. Come on, Bo Nix. Come on, Broncos offense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was really hoping today they would come out hard and fast, establish the run, own the clock. That didn't happen.
I will avoid any puns about hard and fast and
okay.
and just
avoid the puns.
Just talk about some football here right now. Once again, Broncos
are stallions, right? Okay.
Yes. See, don't go down there. Yes. Keep it clean. It's family show ish.
Uptown, San Diego. Okay.
Broncos defense does what they do. 6 sacks. Knocked Geno Smith out the game. Second quarterback in 2 weeks. They've knocked out the game. CJ Stroud last week. Geno Smith this week. But man, this Broncos offense has to be what everybody out there watching this podcast who just watched the game has to be concerned about, because it was great with the fourth quarter, heroics. And that was fun and that was exciting, but we were hoping for more consistency. Now there were no fourth quarter heroics. It was just bad offense from start to finish.
Yeah. So, okay. My concern is they've had this belief, let me start over. The belief that you can win the entire game, that is so good. The belief that we can do this in the fourth quarter, that is so good. But to rely on winning in the fourth quarter, to me, is a big concern. Right. And okay, here's my crazy analogy. But do you remember how sometimes our sweet son would say, I didn't even study for that test and I got a B+. And I'd be like, dude, don't be proud of that.
Right.
Because it catches up with you.
Right. At some point it will. Yes.
Yeah. Do you feel me on that? Like of what we saw today. I mean, they got away, right?
Yes, they got away with a victory here against a bad Raiders team.
Yeah.
For most of the second half, Geno Smith was looking like Frankenstein out there with his hurt leg. So the Texans game last week, close win. You beat Davis Mills, So Patrick Mahomes in 10 days is going to be a far more formidable quarterback and opponent than what Geno brought when healthy. Definitely better than when he was nicked up, and then what Davis Mills brought last week in the Texans game. So to your point, this playing down to the level of your opponent, a cat playing with his food, whatever analogy you want to put on it.
Yeah.
This is not going to be something you can execute against the good teams. And particularly because we're all thinking of this team now as a deep playoff run team. Pro Football Talk had their power rankings come out today. They had the Broncos as the second best team in the NFL. That was not the second best team in the NFL I saw during that game.
No, not today.
I think ESPN had them lower, maybe 8th or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But again, that offensive performance tonight was putrid.
Yeah, it was lackluster, that's for sure. Thankfully, we were playing a team that worked out okay with. I think we were tied in the penalty game.
Both had 11 called penalties against them. I think the Broncos had 9 accepted penalties against them.
Okay,
still way too many.
Our record's 8 penalties per game. Our average is 8 penalties per game.
Right.
So we went above our average today.
Okay, now let's also, as we start to get into all this, let's recognize what day it is. It is Thursday.
It is Thursday.
So the Broncos had 2 walkthrough practices this week.
Okay, break down that, because what is it like when you have a Thursday game?
Okay.
Yeah.
So on a normal week, obviously you play on Sunday. Monday you come in and you get a chance to review the tape. You get a chance to watch the tape with your coaches, get their criticisms, critiques, error corrections, all that kind of stuff. Depending on the program, you may even go on the field and do a quick walkthrough. Let's walk through these 10 things we screwed up during the game, just to kind of get them while it's all fresh in our mind and before we shift to our opponent.
Okay.
Tuesday's the day off. Wednesday's the first day of practice. Typically, we focus on first and second down on Wednesday.
Okay.
Thursday is when we do third down, both offensively and defensively. Friday's all the other situations, short yardage, goal line, backed up situations.
Wow.
And we
Okay.
put a little polish on first and second down. And Saturday's just kind of a walkthrough where we touch on everything. So that's a
Wow.
typical practice week.
Okay.
Now, obviously, when you play on a Thursday night, you don't even watch the tape on Monday.
Right.
So you have a walkthrough practice on Monday
There was a lot to learn too.
based off of last week's from Texas game.
Yeah, but okay, go ahead.
Then you have another walkthrough on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now Wednesday becomes Saturday.
Mm.
So it's barely even a walkthrough.
Yeah.
You go to the hotel and you play the game Thursday.
Okay.
So both teams looked sloppy.
Yeah.
Both teams looked less than prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And both teams' players, I can't think of anybody on the field who I would say that guy played his best game of the season tonight. Zach Allen may be the guy who could be in that conversation because he was good. But they've been good. The Broncos defensive line has been good all year.
They really have.
But outside of the Broncos defensive line, the offensive line, not so much. Bo Nix, not so much. Running backs, not so much. It wasn't a great receiving game. Offense overall was pretty poor. Defense got after the quarterback, got their sacks. But I can't think of anybody who I was like, that guy was awesome today. And that's what you would expect on a Thursday game. Escape with the win, live to, fight another day kind of thing. But lots of room for improvement, which we seem to say all the time on this show.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
But we love room for improvement, and we love that they get the opportunity. We love an opportunity to take these next, was it like 13 days?
10 days between now and the Chiefs game.
Okay. To take this opportunity because now they really need to watch some tape.
Right.
They really got to clean some. They didn't seem settled today. They didn't seem, they weren't consistent.
Nope.
But it just seemed so off. And you could tell the players could feel it too.
Mm-hmm.
There was no rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are tuning into the Broncos postgame show here on Guerilla Sports. Kristen Brown, Chad Brown. We're talking about the Broncos 10-7 win over the Raiders.
Yeah.
Before we go too far, we got to give a shout out to Liv Moves.
Yes. Thank you. She slayed.
I was working a NFL game last week, so unable to be in this seat. I did the Saints-Rams game and out there in LA. SoFi Stadium, an amazing stadium. So the Walton Penner Group, you guys have your work cut out for you to somehow top that stadium out there in LA.
They should consult us because I have some really good ideas.
Okay, I'll make sure the Walton Penner Group get your number after the show.
Call me.
Okay.
I've got great.
But yeah, shout out to Liv, who said some kind words about us and the show that we put together. And we'll see some kind words back to you, Liv. And thank you for filling in and keeping the seat warm for us. Appreciate that. But back to the Thursday night game, sloppy, poor offensive performance. If I were Bo Nix and this Broncos offense, maybe even Sean Payton, I would go around and shake Vance Joseph's hand. And shake every defensive player's hand and say thank you again. Thank you again for pulling this thing out and giving us an opportunity to win.
Defense wins championships.
Turns to find out they win Thursday night games as well.
Yeah. Okay. Seriously, shout out to Vance because the time that the defense was on the field today and last week as well. I'm just like, how is that going to be sustainable over time? The field position that they had to deal with. But they dealt with it. They held them to 7 points. I mean, that's really incredible. What's so funny, though, when I see Vance on the sideline, he makes me nervous because he looks nervous. But he's not nervous, apparently. He's killing it. He dials up the right plays.
In the end, the time of possession was pretty much the same. The Broncos actually had a little bit of a lead time of possession, like 45 seconds. But for the first quarter, the first quarter, the Broncos with all their 3 and outs, giving the ball back to the Raiders, and the Raiders were having some success running the ball a little bit, and they were trying to shorten the game a bit by running the ball as much. The Broncos defense was on the field a lot, but those guys stood up to the test. To go over some numbers here, the Broncos defense limited the Raiders to 10 overall first downs, 6 first downs via the passing game, 4 first downs via the run. The Raiders only had 188 total yards, which comes out to 3.2 yards per play. Geno Smith in that Raiders offense, 114 yards passing, which ain't good enough, 74 yards rushing. So, yeah, and they've got the one turnover. So the Broncos defense deserves a tip of the cap from you and I, Sean Payton, Bo Nix, the entire Broncos offense.
Yeah, so does this make you concerned that we're going to be able to keep Vance around?
I think it's got to be a legitimate concern.
Yeah.
Vance has done a tremendous job rehabbing his career and his image. And certainly it's helping out that George Payton has went and gotten free agency and got a guy like Dre Greenlaw, who hasn't had a massive impact this year, but also got Hufanga, who's had a major impact.
Yeah.
Picking up Zach Allen from the Arizona Cardinals in free agency. That was a big move. Drafting Nick Bonito. So Vance is certainly benefiting from some great personnel on the field, but clearly they are a well-coordinated, well-coached unit.
Yes, they're in sync coordination.
What a novel concept.
Right.
I mean, 11 guys in the field should be in sync and know what's happening and be aware of what everyone else is doing?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying, Kristen Brown?
That's what I'm saying. I'm seeing star power out there, consistency, and the way they were working together. And the play calling. I mean, Vance is calling really good plays.
Okay. All right. Well, if we're going to give the defense their flowers, what do you give somebody who underperformed, who did not live up to expectations? So defense gets flowers at the tip of the cap. What's the opposite of that? What does the offense get? You pull your Scully over your eyes. If you get flowers, you get, I don't know what, weeds.
I think you get a talking to. you get a stern talking to.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So there was the part in the game when Bo threw such a long pass. There was plenty of time.
Late in the first half.
Yeah.
Yes.
So play calling, was that called, do you think? Or do you think he just chose? Like, what was that about? Well,
that route was certainly called by Sean Payton.
Okay.
But that was not where that ball was supposed to go.
Okay.
So they run on offense. They want to be able to. So that situation in the game, you're looking for a chunk play, a fairly big play.
Okay.
12 to 15 to 18 yards. That's what you're looking for in that 2-minute situation.
Yeah.
And how you get that space of the field open is you run somebody on a deep route so somebody can come from underneath to get that 12 to 18 yard pass.
Okay.
I didn't see the exact structure of the play, but that's typically how a play is designed for that particular time in the game.
Okay.
So Bo maybe didn't see that 12 to 18 yard route. Maybe that was taken away and he decided to throw it up for grabs. And so that was a situation. There was time on the clock where you could have been more patient, taking that 12 to 18 yard route if it was open and given the opportunity to kick a field goal there. That was clearly what the plan was from a Sean Payton play calling standpoint.
Yeah.
So it was not a good game for Bo Nix. His receivers and backs dropped balls. That was part of the issue why his numbers weren't so great. But he was not accurate and made a number of poor decisions tonight.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the balls today because we had high, we had low, we had something you should know, we had long, we had short, we had over, we had under.
Okay.
Did we get any dimes today?
Ooh, Bo Nix dimes. I don't think so. I think there were a couple of nice passes, but something where he threaded the needle and it was great vision and trusting his receiver and ball with perfect zip on it and perfectly delivered. I can't think of a ball tonight that met that criteria.
Okay. So one of the guards, right guard, I think, who left the game,
Quinn Miners,
they said he had an illness.
Right.
So then I started thinking, well, maybe there's a little something going around, a little bug or something. And everyone's tired, discombobulated. I mean, they did the early game last weekend. They had to travel, short week, all the things. I mean, if there's something going around, good thing we have some time to get that cleaned up. But what are the odds that your guard's not feeling well and nobody else is not feeling well? Typically,
I mean, it's a very close contact environment.
Ooh, I'd never survive. Never.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of exchange of fluids and germs within a football facility.
Yeah.
Just the high-fiving alone and then you got to take that same gloved hand and grab your mouthpiece and put that in your mouth. I mean, it's just
And
how
you
the
want
game
to come home and kiss your wife. Let's just talk about that. Okay, no, we're not going to talk about that. Not going to talk about that.
People's
Okay.
sweats flying, sweats getting in your
Ooh.
eyes, sweats getting in your mouth. Other people's sweat. Sometimes someone's gloved hand gets into your mouth. So yes, germs
Yeah.
are a part of it. So
Yeah.
typically, if one guy's sick, there's more than one guy sick.
Yeah.
Now, Quinn Miners was able to come back into the game. Maybe he got some fluids at halftime or something.
Right. If you get some fluids, we know what's happening.
Right. But it's that time of year for everybody where illnesses start to crop up and kids come home coughing and rubbing their noses. So
wash your hands, people.
If anybody knows this woman over here, she is a bit of a germaphobe. Okay. I saw this during the game, and I'm not exactly sure of the source of this. Someone put up a graph of yards left on the field by quarterbacks.
Ooh, okay.
Misses are uncatchable passes when targets are open.
Okay.
And Bo Nix has about 700 plus yards that this Broncos offense didn't have due to the number of uncatchable passes he has thrown. So this is over the course of the season. So he's at about a 10% rate of uncatchable passes, which have equaled over 700 yards, or which would have equaled 700 yards of production by however this graph was created. So far and away, the league's leading leader quarterback as far as uncatchable passes and yardage.
Wow, that's incredible because we're still winning.
Right.
That is really incredible. Like you hear that and you go, said no one ever, right? In that sentence. But it's not sustainable.
But we know, even in these wins, he's played poorly in the first 3 quarters.
Right.
The offense has played poorly. Now he's ramped it up in the fourth quarter. He's got his 9 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, 4 for 4 on 2-point conversions, and all that's great. And it's a nice, flashy thing to put up on the screen. But the first 3 quarters have been poor, and now we've had 4 quarters that are poor. And some of this stuff is just clearly not going to allow this team to go where our hopeful expectations are.
Yeah.
You know, we even talked about 2 weeks ago, Super Bowl. Now we were talking about pump your brakes a bit. Don't get too excited. Don't break your arm patting yourself on the back.
Yeah.
But the Super Bowl possibilities. But tonight, I think, brought that expectation down a bit.
Down a bit for sure. But when I look around the league, I feel like a lot of teams are kind of flustering, not playing their best game. So then that keeps us in there. Right. And then, of course, our record keeps us in there. And I'm hoping that the short week is really what some of the issues were. But like you said, the first 3 quarters are still a problem. We got to get that cleaned up. It's my analogy of I didn't study, but I got an A+.
Right.
Not an A+, a B+. And I'm like, don't be proud of that.
Yeah.
Clean it up. Best chances for success. Kansas City's coming.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about at the start of the game, you were very excited about how this offense was going to come out.
Yes.
And then we were talking about the scripted plays.
Yes.
And so just for a little, football 101, every offense does scripted plays, college, pro. Hopefully, if you're a high school coach, you've got some plays on your script as well. And there's typically 15 plays on there. Now, they're not always called in order.
Okay, that's good to know.
And they're kind of categorized. These are our run plays. These are our pass plays. So when the situation comes up, you've got these plays that you like. It's not literally you just running down a script regardless of the situation.
Okay.
You've put plays into this script that will cover most situations that's going to happen in the first couple of drives of the ball game.
And you're doing that to
get your best plays out there,
okay.
give you a chance to get a hot start.
Yeah.
Also allow you to see some things, how they're going to handle certain things defensively.
Okay.
How when we go to this route, they've had man defense in this route or this personnel package all year long. Are they going to do that to us? So we're getting a little intel. We're gathering some information for later in the game.
Okay.
So this first 15 serves many purposes. Hopefully get off to a hot start. Hopefully you score a touchdown on that first drive. Hopefully you gain some intel that you can use later in the game. And then somewhere in there, you like to sprinkle in something that you haven't shown all year. So, and how they're going to react to that, which is more intel that we can use later in the game.
I don't know that happened today.
Well, we had 3 and outs.
Okay. I was like, where was the sprinkle?
So the Raiders defense was clearly prepared
Yeah.
for our first 15, our best plays, and the plays that Sean Payton threw out there that were new for this particular week. And the Raiders were able to handle that without any issue.
Okay. So, is it too soon to jump to special teams?
Well, I don't think so, because in the end, that blocked punt ends up being the biggest play of the game, enables the field goal. Despite the offense getting the ball at the 11-yard line and going 3 and out, they kicked the field goal. That's the game-winning difference.
Yeah. So our punter today,
Yes.
what's happening?
Gosh, there were a couple off the side of it, but he hasn't been consistent all year. So tonight, all the things that have been issues for the Broncos all showed up tonight. The uneven special teams play. Of course, you got the block, which was the game winner, but the punts weren't so good. There was penalties on special teams. The overall number of penalties, that showed up in big time tonight. The offensive inconsistency. So all these things that have been issues showed up on a Thursday night because you didn't have this full week of practice and you weren't prepared to play your best football. So the worst of the Broncos showed up tonight. Enough to get the win.
Yep.
But man, is it going to be enough to beat the Chiefs, who are obviously going to be motivated, and they're not going to give up the AFC West division easily. They're not going to go down and just take their ball and go home. They're going to go down fighting. And so this is still going to be a competitive division. But yes, special teams, the punting, yet another inconsistent, poor performance from him.
Okay, so with the special teams and the field position and the defensive handling, that's great, because we're going to need that to be able to go to the Super Bowl at some point. We don't know when. Do we need to get another punter off his couch somewhere and to be a little more prepared, because those small things are huge things?
Well, we saw the difference in field position tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know how the game ended with average field position, but there were, I think, 3 or 4 drives where the Broncos started inside their 10, at least 2 where they started inside their 5, and the Raiders, I believe, there was a graphic put up during the game where the Raiders' average starting field position was a 39. Now the Raiders' offense sucked, and the Broncos' defense was good, so they were able to handle that.
Right.
But you got to believe for Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Xavier Brown, all those guys over there in Kansas City, if that was Kansas City on the other sideline today, I don't think the Broncos would be walking away with the win. So even with the skill and talent level of the Broncos defense and the great calls from Vance Joseph, that field position difference for every drive, every 10 yards of field position that you are further from your goal line, your scoring percentage goes down by about 10%.
Okay.
So taking the ball at the 30 versus getting it at the 19, about 10 yards difference there.
It's a big deal.
You got a 10% less chance of scoring. And so for the Raiders to get it at basically the 40, that's 10% more than they would have got at the 30. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Against good teams, this kind of stuff is going to show up. This kind of stuff is going to make a difference.
Right. So we need someone who can not always put it in the end zone, right? Because
you don't want touchbacks.
Yeah.
Because you want to ideally pin them back, as the Raiders were able to pin our offense back. So
yeah.
I have to imagine that George Payton will spend some time tomorrow looking at all the punters who are available.
Okay.
And they will figure out who to bring in for a tryout.
Yeah.
And often the best way to do that, not just to try the player out, but to send a message, is to do that on a day when everyone's at the facility. So I'm not sure what this mini bye schedule is going to look like for the Broncos. But most teams, a lot of guys show up on Tuesday.
Okay.
So to have the tryout and have those tryout players in the locker room getting dressed and you're on the field doing a little extra conditioning and they're out trying out, that sends a message to your football team.
Yeah, it does.
They're trying people out. That means somebody in this locker room, they want somebody gone. They want one of those guys to replace that guy.
Oh, the replacements. Okay.
So in certain organizations, just do tryouts every Tuesday because that's what they do, because it sends a message.
Really?
So as a New England Patriot, you had to know there were going to be 10 dudes in the locker room every Tuesday trying out for something. And it always sent a message, and it always ratcheted up the pressure.
Well, yeah.
They're looking for somebody else.
Wow. That's fascinating. I had no idea, because you can just bring someone in. You don't have to like sign them on the team.
No.
And of course they're going to show up. They want to get off the couch.
Right. Yeah. So they get an opportunity to try out and, show their ability and skill set to somebody.
Yeah.
And then from the front office perspective, from the coaching perspective, not only do we get to see what all these other punters look like in this conversation about the punter.
Yeah.
But hopefully that punter or one of his boys is in the building who's going to see we tried out punters.
Okay.
And agents typically get a chance to know that as well. So you would know, if you're the punter's agent, you should know how many punters were trying out for the Broncos, who they were, and all that information about those guys.
Wow. Sounds like it's worth the plane ticket and the hotel night stay.
Yes. Sends a message.
Fascinating. Send the message. Send the message. Okay. So is there ever a time when you have a game like this where you're like, what was that? Okay, we won. We love a win. Victory formation. Fantastic. But is it worth watching? Do they ever go, is it worth watching? Because there's a lot to learn from what happened. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. What the heck was that? We got to stop calling that. Like, tell me.
In the course of a 17-game season, I would say there's maybe every other year there's a tape that you don't watch together.
Okay.
And they'll say, we're not going to watch this together.
Yeah.
I've had some coaches say it was FUBAR.
What does that mean? FUBAR?
Fucked up beyond recognition.
Oh, shoot.
So it was so bad. It was so bad that I can't even coach off of this.
Well, no, you go, what the hell is that? Don't do that.
Like it would just end up being a 5-hour film session. So we're not even going to go. We're going to highlight a couple things. We're going to show some mistakes. We're going to go on the field and walk it through so we can be sure we've got the communication down. But we're going to move on. In the words of Bill Belichick, we're on to Cincinnati. We're moving past.
Okay.
We're moving past this one as quickly as possible. We're on to Kansas City. So I'm pretty sure Sean Payton is going to want to watch this.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn.
Yes, and
there's a lot to learn
because of the mini bye. There's an opportunity to bring the guys in tomorrow, watch the tape, send them off on the bye week or the mini bye week, send them off on their 3-day vacation with some thoughts in their head about how we got to improve and this ain't good enough.
Yeah.
And maybe even show some highlights of who you would play to compete in this division, the Chiefs and the Chargers. Maybe show some highlights of what expected playoff teams are doing. This is the standard we've got to get to. This is how far below the standard we are right now. And to be honest with the team, we beat Davis Mills. We beat Geno Smith and Kenny Pickett in the last 2 weeks. And we barely beat those guys. That ain't good enough.
Don't be proud of that. No, I'm just kidding. Be proud of that. It's a win. It's a win.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
All right. Can you read any of those texts up there? Ooh. Okay. Nick was balling out on defense. Yes. Nick was balling out on defense. He was in the backfield. Nick Benito.
Yes.
He was consistent pressure. No doubt about that. And as expected for a guy who was in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, I expect that from him every week. When I was talking about no one played their best game, I was mainly talking about on the offensive side of the ball.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, clearly the defense did what the defense does. 6 sacks, Nick Benito, consistent pressure, Zach Allen, consistent pressure, Hufanga, a number of major big hits, big tackles, all those things.
All the things.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got any other interesting texts here? What else do we got? Pathetic offense. Bo did look bad. I didn't give Bo's numbers, so let me pull those up real quick. I did talk about the graphic that I pulled from the internet earlier. The offensive numbers for the Broncos.
I felt like there were some passes that Bo threw. They weren't great, but in CNFL, you got to be good. Like they were catchable.
He had a couple of drops today from the
Yeah.
receivers and from the running backs as well. So Bo was 16 to 28 for 150 yards. 150 yards passing ain't going to get it done. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Wow.
The Raiders came in with one of the worst pressure rates in all of the NFL. So they got 1 sack. I would imagine Kansas City or the Chargers, again, that's who we're competing for this division title with.
Right.
They're going to be able to take what the Raiders did and execute that at a higher level and get more than 1 sack, because they were getting Bo off the spot, making him scramble and things like that.
Yeah.
But the Raiders just aren't very good at sacking the quarterback. So Bo Nix's numbers weren't great, to the texter's point. 27 carries for 84 yards rushing, 3.1 yards per rush. That also ain't good enough.
No.
The long run of the night, 13 yards.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. So 1 quote unquote explosive run. In the receiving game, what was our most explosive play? We had the 43-yard to Pat Bryant, the rookie.
Yeah, the rookie. Yeah.
He also had a couple penalties tonight.
Yeah, he's got to get those kinks out. So that was tonight.
So
good.
He had a penalty on special teams. He had the offensive pass interference. Which,
and that was confusing to me.
Okay.
Because typically when I see pass interference, typically it's going to be on the defense,
correct.
Right? But when it's on the offense, it's when they don't go for the ball, all of a sudden they start defending the cornerback is back there.
So in Pat's case, he went to get separation from the defender.
Okay.
And there's always going to be a little bit of jostling and bumping and a little bit of hand fighting. But as a receiver, if you extend your arm, then they're gonna call you with offensive pass interference. The officials,
did he do like a push off kind of thing?
Yes. So he came upfield, and when he went to cut to the right side of the field, he used his left arm to push off and create separation.
Okay. Running backs can do that, right? The stiff arm.
You can stiff arm and just stop somebody from tackling you. But when you're running your route, you can't extend your arm. Even if it's not fully extended, even if it's partially extended, they're going to call that on you. What you ideally want to do is run up and bump that guy a little bit with your shoulder, and then cut. So right at the right moment, bump and cut, and that's how you're going to get that separation. Extending the arm, the officials are told to throw the flag on that. And again, those guys, they want to work the playoffs. They want to work the Super Bowl. You want to be the highest graded official possible, so you can work those extra games and get extra paychecks, just like the players do.
Yes, more money.
And so you would get marked down as an official if you don't call that when a receiver extends the arm to get separation.
Okay, so is that allowed in college? Like, is that maybe why he did it?
I just think as a rookie, some of the subtleties of it are lost.
Okay.
So he knows he wants to get up there and get separation.
Yeah.
And it's tempting to stick the arm out, because if I get separation, this is going to be a great way to do it. But just do it subtly, little shoulder bump and cut.
Bump and cut.
Yes.
Bump and cut.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I like him. So
he's becoming a big part of what they're doing. And so we had, I keep saying we, but I was calling the game. You were there in support.
Yes.
For the Rams.
I always feel like I'm kind of calling it.
Yes. But Devon Vele, who's been, who's a receiver here last year, and the Broncos traded him to the Saints. And Bronco fans were all concerned because he had some splash plays last year and played well.
Okay.
He played no factor whatsoever in the Rams Saint game.
Yeah.
And based on what Pat Bryant has done this season, I would say that was a strong choice by George Payton and Sean Payton to choose him over Devon Vele.
Okay.
He's going to be a better, more polished receiver, particularly as he gains experience.
Okay, good. So receiver-wise today across the board, how would you rate them?
Okay, so...
Because again, like I felt like some of those balls were catchable.
It just wasn't a great game. I mean, when you have 150 yards passing, it's hard to say, ooh, this receiver lit it up.
Yeah.
Pat Bryant had the 1 catch for 43 yards, which was a big play. Troy Flanken, 5 for 40. Cortland Sutton, 3 for 24. Evan Ingram, 2 for 12. RJ Harvey, 2 for 9. J.K. Dobbins, 1 for 7. It just was not a great day passing the ball. Troy Franklin had the 5 receptions, but 9 targets. So
Okay.
he and Bo were off a bit. Troy dropped some balls, and Bo delivered some balls to him that weren't necessarily well thrown. That's probably Evan Ingram, 2 catches on 5 targets.
Okay.
So you want to be well above 50% on
Okay.
your receptions versus targets.
Okay.
So 5 for 9, that ain't quite good enough.
Okay.
2 for 5, that's not good enough. If I'm throwing the ball to you, we want to catch 50% plus, ideally 60, 70% plus of those targets ends up being receptions. That means
Okay.
we have a great connection. You know where I'm going to be. You're going to throw the ball in a place where I can get it.
Okay. Okay. Ooh, Surtain.
Mhm.
What do we know? When's he going to be back?
Well, the 23 days between this game and the game after the Chiefs, that will give Surtain some time to get healed up and come back.
Okay, good.
I don't think he'll be back for that Chiefs game because that's in 10 days. But the 23-day window, such a great schedule thing for them to get healthy.
Okay.
I've got other concerns about that, but I would suspect Pat will be back with the game after the Chiefs game, after the bye.
Okay, because we certainly miss Surtain.
The backup cornerbacks, Riley Moss continues to be game and great effort and try hard kind of guy. But I thought the biggest issue with the backup guys is they don't tackle as well as Pat Surtain.
Okay.
And now the Raiders offense wasn't very good, but against a better offense, their poorer tackling I think would have resulted in more runs or yards after catch or more yards after contact from a running back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that 23 days, one game in 23 days, football is such a rhythmic thing. Thursday night games throw the rhythm off, as we saw tonight.
Right. Yeah.
And when you have this consistent schedule, your clock, your rhythm, your daily schedule, your rhythm for the week,
Yeah.
it all fits and works. Now we're going to have this bye. Do I go home? Do I go back to my college and be on the sideline and watch the game there? Do we pop down to Cancun for a couple of days on the beach?
Okay, don't do it. Just don't do it.
Do we go to Vegas and have a boys' weekend?
No. Don't add to the population. Do not take away from the population. Do not get incarcerated. No, I don't know. Not right now. Kansas City's coming. This is a big deal.
They'll get a couple of days off here. It's probably 2. I mean, clearly some of these guys are going to hop on a plane and go somewhere. There's lots of money, so maybe not even just a plane, a PJ, a private jet, and go somewhere.
Okay. They do it. They do it big now.
I'm sure on Saturday we'll be watching a college game and we'll see a Bronco player on the sideline or something like that. I think that's good. That's wholesome. You're going to go watch a college team play.
Yeah, wholesome. We like wholesome fun. Good, clean fun.
Yeah, but don't go to Cancun. And then so you got a chance to get away this weekend. Then you come back, you play the Chiefs. Then you got the bye after that. And per the NFL PA rules, you've got to get 5 days off.
Okay, this is a new rule.
This was not existing when I was in the league. Okay, good for these guys, right?
Right. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. Sorry to us.
Yes, because our coaches would always schedule stuff so we couldn't get away.
Never. Okay.
Yes, that we.
I'm not bitter.
A little bit.
I'm not bitter. It's fine.
We are awaiting Brandon Cristal. He'll be coming to us from the field after he gets a chance to talk to everybody, players and coaches, and hear what they've got to say in the Broncos locker room. But just real quick, the bye thing for the old players like myself, we called it time waste management. So if you played on Sunday and you had the next weekend off, we're going to come to practice. We're going to give you 2 days off. We're going to give you Monday and Tuesday off. We'll practice Wednesday and Thursday, maybe Friday, and then get the weekend off, 2 days for the weekend. And so it's just like, I can't go anywhere. We can't go back home. We can't go on a little vacation. You've managed to waste all my time in a way I can't get away. So now the NFLPA has put their foot down on that. 5 days off for these guys.
All righty.
Good for them.
5 days. Good for them.
Looks like the text line is filling up. What else do we have here? Knicks need to be more paid. Okay, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
We've talked about this for multiple weeks. So that's why I think some of times in the fourth quarter, he gets so efficient because he doesn't have to be patient. They're playing hurry up football.
Exactly.
But when you're playing within the framework of a normal game, patience is required in the pocket, both mentally and with your footwork. He wants to do things so fast, his footwork gets out of control, he gets less accurate, and he starts speeding up mentally as well.
Yeah, so he plays a lot better under pressure. So can you play a whole game under pressure? Can you just kind of pretend like you're under pressure? Like,
well, if you want to throw a long ball, typically you've got to have some patience in the pocket.
yeah.
You've got to let that receiver get 30 or 40 yards downfield.
Yeah. Let the play set up.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's weird when people say you have to have patience in football, because that was hard for me. Year 13 in my career when we went to New England, and sometimes Bill Belichick in practice would tell me to slow down. I'm like, what do you mean? It's football. I'm supposed to go as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Just slow down, man.
Yeah.
Let the play happen. And so Bo Nix sometimes needs to slow down. I suspect he will continue to get better at this, but far too often, particularly early in games, he's lacking that patience, again, from a footwork standpoint, which leads to inaccurate passes, or the mental standpoint, which leads to poor choices on where to go with the football.
So the Bo leaving that they can still win is such a benefit. So that's great. He's a young quarterback, so that's great. So I do feel like his trajectory can be positive. Do they ever bring in like a quarterback wizard or something? You know what I mean? Like a sensei?
Well, he's got a quarterback coach who played in the league for a long time. And so, obviously, this is the guy who's been whispering in his ear all season long. Okay. And it's hard to imagine, somebody comes and whispers in your ear shows up at one practice. Let's say it's Joe Montana. Ooh. Or even Tom Brady. Arguably either one, the GOAT, depending on what era of football you subscribe to. Okay. If he were to spend a day with Bo Nix, is suddenly Bo Nix going to be fixed of all these issues? Because once the action starts, you tend to revert back to the habit. So it takes an entire offseason, in my mind, to rid yourself of bad habits that cropped up this season. Yeah. And you don't always completely fix them, but you may make some progress. Okay. And then in the next offseason, because you've got to get away from the pressure of the game. And I've been playing this game since I was 6 years old. And as soon as the lights come on, I revert back to this player mentality. No, you've got to work and hone the craft in the offseason, work on that patience, work on the footwork to where now that becomes wired in your brain.
What did you think of the footwork today?
Well, that was part of the reason why some of those passes were not accurate, because the patience is still lacking. And that's probably one of the biggest issues that he has, is this, it speeds up for him and he wants to go fast. But okay, we just saw Matthew Stafford for the Rams last week. He did not have a single bad play in that game. He never looked hurried. He never looked out of sorts. Things never looked like he was moving too fast, or things were moving too fast for him to handle mentally. He's 37 years old.
Right.
So, that's what happens as you get older for Peyton Manning and for Drew Brees and for Tom Brady, now Matthew Stafford. So Bo Nix hopefully will get there. But for Bronco fans who want some improvement, this thing keeps cropping up all the time.
Okay, so Bronco fans, we have to have patience.
Correct. Just as Bo Nix should develop more patience.
Yes.
All right, what else we got on the text line? Anything interesting and good? Okay. Riley Moss balled out. Well, Riley Moss was beat on the one opportunity the Raiders had for a deep ball, and the Raider receiver dropped it. So Riley Moss gets targeted a lot. And if you get targeted a lot, you are going to get beat. But that play literally could have been the difference in the game. That's what happens when your offense doesn't score enough points and you're on defense and you're battling every single play because there's no margin for error. Riley Moss, who would probably grade out at a great grade for this game, he gets beat on that one play. The Raiders can win this ball game.
Yeah, because there was no one in front of that guy.
No.
He was going to go all the way.
He was going to go all the way.
Take it to the house.
Yes. And even though he went and dropping the ball, ended up veering towards the sideline, if he had just caught that ball, he would have been able to run straight and score a touchdown.
Right.
So Yes, to the texter's point, I think Riley Moss did play well.
Yeah.
But when the margin of error is as slim as it is, to get beat on a deep ball would have lost the Broncos the game.
Wow. So technically, we could have just lost the game on our own. We had help from the Raiders because they were so incredibly sloppy. So I'm hoping to see a lot of it. We've been talking about this all year, but improvement with the penalty game, because that's just such a problem. Improvement with the feet, improvement with the passes. And then again, so there was one time when Bo started to run and then he decided to throw. And you literally could hear people yelling, run, run, run. And he threw it, and it wasn't a great pass, but it was caught. So it was like, okay, yay. But then I'm like, well, wait, are we rewarding that? You know what I mean? Like, so I get concerned about when it works out, honestly, because I feel like that commitment's important. I mean, you got to check out a place from time to time.
Right.
But we didn't really see him get called to run.
I would think on a Thursday, going back to that, your understanding of the defense and what they're trying to do is just so limited.
Okay.
Now, of course, it's the Raiders. You play them twice a year. So you should have some Raiders experience. But again, if you're a creature of habit, as every player I know is, and you get
humans.
Yes, you get this compressed week.
Yeah.
How can you feel as confident with what your eyes are seeing, and then to, without thinking, know where to go exactly with the football? So, I'm not sure what I'm seeing. Let me take off and run. Oh, I think I see it. Let me throw it. I would imagine that was probably the yelling in his head that he was hearing.
Yeah.
Because it was all so uncertain.
Oh, because he just had room. He could have gotten the first down.
Yeah.
And then perhaps got settled, right? And then lived to throw another ball. Now the ball was caught in the end. So that was great. But when you hear the fans yelling, run, run.
Right.
Yeah.
What else we got on the text line out there? I think Sutton should move to the slot and put Ingram on the outside to create mismatches. Interesting, because Cortland, as a bigger guy playing in the slot, would certainly be bigger than most nickel cornerbacks. Then Evan Ingram on the outside, with the bigger body as a tight end, would be a mismatch for most cornerbacks. I get what you're saying. I'm just not sure if Cortland's skill set is those shorter, quicker routes that you run from that slot receiver position. And then Evan Ingram, who's been a tight end his entire career, running the outside routes, that's a bit of a different skill set as well. I see what you're saying, and you could probably do that in limited situations, but I think if that becomes a staple, you would put guys in positions where they're not utilizing their best skill sets. So, yeah, Sean Payton, in limited spots, I can see that making sense. Maybe if you were to not line up in that from the initial formation, but have Evan Ingram in the tight end spot.
Okay.
And then he and Cortland Sutton swap. Suddenly you've got a mismatch there. You could get a linebacker on Evan Ingram outside the numbers in a one-on-one situation. He should win that battle because he's such a fast guy. That would make some sense to me. But just as a staple, those guys swapping, I don't think Sean Payton's going to go for that.
Well, I like the idea of what you just said, though. I mean, because that would be something to have, in your wheelhouse, to just change it up, to not be so predictable.
Speaking of Sean Payton, this one was interesting for me.
Okay.
We went for the no-brainer, trying to get the Raiders off sides.
I forgot about that. Go ahead.
But we decided we were going to change personnel to go with the no-brainer. And that kind of Sean Payton level of complexity just doesn't land well for me, because you wanted to go hurry up to force the Raiders to get to the line of scrimmage quickly, but you changed personnel. Therefore, they get to change personnel.
Yeah.
So the ref had to hold the snap of the ball to give the Raiders a chance to get their change of personnel on the field.
Honestly, I don't think I'd ever seen that before.
So that was like, do you not know football? Do you not know the rule is they get to bring their guys on too? So you can't hurry up in that situation.
Because now everyone's settled. You had a chance to really settle in and go, they're trying to draw us off sides.
And then you could hear the Raiders on the mic saying, that shit ain't going to work.
Right. Oh, okay.
So if you had just kept the same personnel on the field, rushed to the line of scrimmage, forced the Raiders to rush to the line of scrimmage, and them trying to communicate as you're trying to simulate the snap of the ball, you had a chance to get them to jump off sides. But because you changed personnel, you screwed the whole thing up and gave yourself no chance to do that. And as the Raiders said, that shit ain't going to work.
Okay, do you remember what personnel they were going to?
I don't remember what the personnel package was on the field, nor what personnel came on the field.
Yeah.
I just noticed the change in personnel, which then gives the Raiders the chance to change their personnel.
Okay, so this makes me think of a couple weeks back when they had the snap go right to the running back.
Right.
Would that be a good time for something like that?
If you kept the same personnel on the field and you lined up quickly, that would be a great surprise.
Yeah.
And the Raiders would be scrambling because you rushed the line of scrimmage. Now they're trying to communicate the call.
Right.
So they're not lined up right. Not everybody heard the call. That situation would be great. But again, once you change personnel, the defense gets the opportunity to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And the ref isn't going to stand over the ball, stop you snapping the ball until their personnel gets to change.
Okay, we don't see that often. I don't.
Okay.
I don't see that often.
The ref
what is happening?
The ref standing over the ball?
Yeah, and saying, wait, we have to wait for personnel change because you did it.
Because typically a team knows if we change personnel, we can't then try to go hurry up at the same time.
No, both can't happen.
Both can't happen,
okay.
Sean Payton.
Okay.
Yes, only one can happen, not two.
Do one.
Do one,
don't
not
do
both.
Two.
You can't do two. You can't do two.
Well, that worked a couple weeks back, so I felt like that could have been a good call.
Right, and also because you kept the same personnel on the field.
Yeah,
and so
you changed it.
Yeah,
but
yes, yeah.
The time thing. Oh, that makes me think of the screen bubbles, whatever the bubble thing.
The wide receiver screens.
Yes.
Okay.
Like the time that's lost in trying to get forward, trying to get yards when they throw that little bubble pass thing in the compressed field. Like, why is that still happening?
Sean loves a wide receiver screen.
They're watching tape. They know he loves it, and they kind of stopped it today. It didn't work for us today.
So that play is multifactored.
Okay.
What you're hoping is that we can throw the ball outside, and suddenly we've got a ball carrier going against the poorest tacklers on the defense.
Okay.
Of anybody who's the poorest tacklers, it's typically going to be the two cornerbacks. So from a way to attack a defense, it seems enticing, right?
Okay, yeah.
So let's get a ball carrier out there.
Okay.
And we're going to get them so far away from everybody else, we're going to force their worst tackler to tackle somebody. So that's the thought process.
Okay.
And then if they're not the worst tacklers, they're also the worst guys at getting off blocks. So now we're going to get a blocker on this guy. Hopefully.
Okay.
He's probably not going to be very good at getting off the block. And if he does, he's probably not going to be very good at making a tackle.
Okay.
So that's the thought process behind this.
Okay.
But because the Broncos do it so often, the other teams prepare for this. And our Bronco receivers aren't great blockers at that. So we typically lose those battles against the worst block shedders on the defense.
Yeah.
But there's also a setup component to this.
Right.
You're hoping to get the defense of backs to start creeping up. We run this 3 or 4 times. We get them to creep up. Suddenly we're able to run past them and throw it over their head. We're trying to set up a big home run play.
Okay.
But it doesn't work as often, I think, as Sean would like. But he loves to go to it because of those factors that I just talked about. From a play calling standpoint, how do we attack the worst blocker? That's a play to attack the worst blocker or the worst tackler.
Okay.
That's a way to do that. It's just we don't execute it very well.
So it seems not necessary then.
So as a coach, you got what you draw up on the whiteboard during the week. You're drawing up all your plays.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be great because this is going to isolate their worst tackler against our ball carrier. And you draw it up. But there's a difference between drawing up on the whiteboard and the execution on the field.
Right. And then they watch tape too.
They watch tape too. They know that Sean loves this.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders, talked about specifically all these wide receiver screens and wide receiver passes and how we're going to defend them, how much Sean Payton loves them, what Sean Payton is hoping to accomplish, because this is such a staple for the Broncos offense. Week in and week out, you're going to see those so often. And if you're have your phone with you and you're watching a Bronco game, every time it happens, just look at all the comments on your Twitter or on your whatever Facebook or whatever social media you're following, because everyone's like, again, another short pass, another pass behind the line of scrimmage, another tackle for a loss on a wide receiver screen.
Well, geometry-wise, like straight path, A to B, every single time.
Right.
If you're going A to C, to D to B to E, it's a fast game that you got to be patient for, but I don't think you're going to get there.
Right.
So enough with the screens, maybe, because we just got to take a break on that since it's just not working. Then I say, okay, in my head, is this because of the deflect passes that they're kind of getting nervous to go straight ahead unless it's like a rocket or something?
It also has an effect on the defensive linemen who are rushing the quarterback, who are the guys who put their hands up and block those passes.
Yeah.
Because they get to take, one or two steps and they got to suddenly turn and try to run to the sideline to help tackle this guy. So suddenly you're tired. And when you're tired, you're probably not going to put your hands up as easily.
Yeah.
So he's hoping for all these effects from this play that will then allow something else to be more successful. So to your point, if you say eliminate that from your offensive game plan, what else do we eliminate from the offensive game plan? And we got a Brandon Cristal sighting as he's chugging down some water, getting himself ready for his hit.
Been out there in all that wind.
Hey, it's not as windy now as it was in the third and fourth quarter, which is a bit of a relief, I guess. I was down on the field all game, Chad, helping our friends at Westwood One as a sideline producer, and it was windier than I expected. I know it had been windy throughout the day. They thought it was going to die down. Pretty windy in the first half. The second half, and Sean Payton commented on it, that it was windier than they were certainly expecting, and that clearly, I think, affected Will Lutz's 59-yard attempt, and obviously Colorado native Daniel Carlson's 52. I actually went down there to try to catch Carlson's, but he pushed it so far wide right that I wasn't able to snag it. Nonetheless, here we are.
You bring up an interesting point. We have not discussed the wind at all here, waiting for you to get to us. And from the television, viewing of the game, they showed the flags occasionally above the goalpost, but it didn't seem like the wind was so much that it was affecting the passing game. But neither team was very good passing the ball. Was that a factor in the passing game tonight?
I think it may have been. Bo missed so many throws that you can't say, the wind affected all of them, but it was kind of swirling. It was blowing more south to north. Here's the south side for me, and here's the north side. So that's why they wanted to kick that direction. That's why they wanted to get that Lutz kickoff in the third quarter before they flipped the field in the fourth quarter. But it was to say that it affected the Raiders, I think is unfair to the Broncos defense and kind of how crappy the Raiders passing offense was today. But I can't just say, that's definitely why Bo missed some of those throws. Maybe the deep throw, it hung up there a little longer. The interception on the shot to Franklin near the end of the first half. But it was noticeable. It just wasn't constant.
Yeah, and the win, is a factor both ways. So then it's kind of like a null, right? You got win, we got win, they got win. So, yeah.
Yeah, and so they're not making an excuse there. It's just so many times we've been in this season, they're now predicted to you guys on the field in Philadelphia after they got to 3-2. Like, this team might reel off five wins in a row, and I guess 7, but and get to 8-2. It doesn't feel like the best 8-2 team we've ever seen. They don't feel like a juggernaut, but the defense, obviously they're in a good mood with how they played. The offense, I was at a couple other offensive players, and Mike's like, well, that's not good enough. Our defense playing 2 points is not good enough. And he's right. So a couple of defensive players, what can you do to help pick the offense up? Like, we're just going to keep doing our job and giving them opportunities. That's what Alex Singleton, essentially what Zach Allen said. And so, then I asked Bo Nix, are you more mad at yourself for the inconsistent or knowing that? And they've obviously shown flashes of some good offense. And he said kind of both, that there was a lot left on the table. They just need to find some juice. And I don't know what it takes. I know this. I get that Sean comments yet. Because when he said that 3rd and 1 trick play has been up for a few weeks now, I just don't know why you're running it in that situation. Yeah, you're in a good field position, but that feels like a second down only because on 3rd down they're bringing more pressure into the potential for a screen on 3rd and 1, but you're just going to get a lot more defensive for that I just don't want to see a 3rd and 1. Like, I like the idea of getting creative, and that might have caused a spark or helped, provide a spark, but I just didn't like the timing of it. And so when you got a defense this good, you can try silly things, but you can't do it next week against the Chiefs or you'll be down 30-10 here real quick.
We've seen Sean Payton this season. I thought he did some good stuff earlier this season with some games where he did no harm. But tonight it felt like some of these play calls, like he was just like, let's try this. And so I think his frustration with the offense is starting to be reflected in some of the play calling. He's kind of not sure where the answers are. So let's try this. And that ain't never good. When your play callers, like, let's give it a shot. Let's see if it works. I've never seen that turn out well.
Yeah, I would imagine certainly not consistently, right? Can you get a spark? Oh, let's go up tempo. Well, that's not going to last because at some point you're going to go 3 and out and you're going to just have your defense back on the field. Or let's let's spread our offense out more and whatever it may be. Yeah, I you. It's just interesting at this point of his career as a play caller that Sean Payton feels so inconsistent. And we still games start to work and he still goes. You could have had out and just go get that would help.
BK,
but hopefully you can hear me, so I'll keep talking until you tell me to stop because maybe my
other word.
It's a pretty
there
tonight. That's better.
The media Wi-Fi from the press box. Now I'm on Broncos Wi-Fi for everyone in the stadium to use. Amazon just shut down their set, so maybe there's
You're doing great now. We can. It's actually the best signal you've had the entire time.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is good. Okay, we'll see if any of the Amazon people walk this way, and I can get Tony Gonzalez or Ryan Fitzpatrick to jump on. I mean, I don't know why they would, but you never know. I've known Tony Gonzalez a long time, so maybe. But
you're working now. You sound good. Go for it.
Yeah, I just want to see him stick to the run. Like, let's keep the whole simple stupid. I'm not calling Sean Payton stupid. I'm just saying it feels like they're outthinking themselves. Andy Reid does this too. Think about the Thursday same crew there, the Amazon crew in Kansas City a couple of years ago, where they lost that game. What was it, 19-7 or 10, whatever it was, 19-9, where Andy gets that snap it to Kadarius Toney too, and Sean does it, but you don't need to. And I guess silly things, but you'd like to see them start to establish a true, and that's able defensively. I think they might.
The connection is
tight end because at least he can make people miss with the ball in his hand.
BK, the connection is incredibly poor. So, any final thoughts?
Just that Sean Payton, stop there. You're 8-2, so enjoy that. A couple extra days off. The Chiefs are on a bye and come back ready to play the 3-time AFC champions and try to establish dominance in the division over them.
Thanks, BK.
Thanks. Sorry. Yes. I blame.
No worries.
I blame the new stadium's gonna have great internet.
We look forward to that. Thanks for waiting around for us. Thanks for getting all the details from the locker room. Appreciate it, BK. See you next week, my friend.
Okay.
All right. So didn't catch a whole lot of that, but it sounds as if the defense feels pretty good about themselves, and the offense is predictably saying we got to find ways to be better. That's not good enough.
Right. And I would say defensively, we have identity. Offensively, we don't know what we're going to see.
And again, I think that's reflecting in some of the play calling from Sean Payton that we were kind of parsing from what BK was talking about there.
Yeah.
That trick play was incredibly odd. And there were a number of weird play calls. Again, I think the frustration level of the ineffectiveness of the offense is now forcing the play caller to go, let's give this a shot, which is No, this is the NFL. We don't just give it a shot.
Right. And I would imagine that would affect the offense too, because they're going to get frustrated.
Right.
Because I'm sure there's some conversations that are happening.
Hmm.
And we definitely don't want the locker room to start having issues. And then leadership issues. I mean, because he's coach, he's the leader of the team. The identity. I don't know what it is. We got to figure it out. We got to figure it out.
All right. Final thoughts, put a bow on this one, and looking forward to Kansas City in 10 days. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. What we did tonight is we won. Yay. So
Yeah,
we
we'll
still
take
can
that.
win. We still believe we can win. Yay. I believe we can win and beat Kansas City.
Certainly. I believe so
We've
too.
seen so much good. If we could gather all that good together, get rid of those penalties, I think we can have success against Kansas City. How about you?
Tonight, the Broncos were exposed a bit.
Mhm.
All the bad things showed up. The lack of patience for Bo Nix in the pocket. Some of the footwork issues showed up. Sean Payton's lack of dedication to the run game. He had the first drive or two of the second half, and then he got away from it again. Sometimes Sean Payton is his own worst enemy, as we saw with the trick play. Even backed up, he threw the ball in the end zone again after that safety from a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the penalties showed up again. So there's a number of things that are showing up. Now, on one hand, it may be easy to say it was a short week, but now you've got 10 days.
Mhm.
So this Chiefs game coming up, I think, will be incredibly telling
Mhm.
for this football team.
Yeah.
Are they this team that can't get away from their demons? They just show up every single week? Or are they a team that, like the best teams do, find ways to get better every single week, keep moving forward, keep improving? Because the record's great, but the on-the-field product says that's not going to take us very far in the playoffs.
Right. What you just said, find a way to get better. We've been finding a way to win.
Right.
And we're winning.
Which is good.
But we got to find a way to get better.
Yeah.
So we can be consistent and have some identity and not be like, what are we going to see?
Right. Because the Jets, the Giants, the Raiders, I mean, obviously these are not teams that are anywhere near the tops of the NFL, much less their own divisions.
Yeah, we're way more talented than them.
Right. And we saw how close that game was with the Texans, who for most of the first 5 weeks of the season had the lowest scoring offense in the NFL. So lots of things to work on. Seems to be a consistent theme whenever we sit down in these chairs.
Yeah.
But they got the win. Don't ever turn down the win. Don't ever give the win back.
No.
But damn it, Broncos, find a way to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got this.
Yeah.
We believe. I love saying that.
I know you do. I'm
gonna be killing Mahoney's name next time, though. Right. That's for sure.
So for Kristen Brown, I'm Chad Brown, Guerilla Sports Postgame Show. We're out. We will see you guys after Kansas City.